Will BlackRock backstop the next housing crisis?
Corporations are making housing unaffordable for the average family. Or at least that's what countless doomers on social media want us to think. They're not alone. Big media is also getting in on selling the fear. Years ago, the Wall Street Journal screamed, "Meet your new landlord, Wall Street." Bloomberg last year referred to Wall Street as America's landlord. And who can forget Reuters' piece, "Spiders, Sewage, and a Flurry of Fees, the other side of renting a house from Wall Street." Now, the U.S. government is looking to get in on the action, with Congress earlier this month moving to ban hedge funds from owning single-family homes. If you're a regular on social media, chances are you've stumbled upon these posts by now, and invariably, they directly scorn the likes of BlackRock and the vanguards of the world. How much real estate do funds like these even own, and how big of a problem is this, and what are the consequences if we continue to go down this road? Let's dive in. All right, picture this. You and your sweetie have finally saved up enough cash for a down payment on the house of your dreams. You've been searching for just the right place for months. A couple bedrooms for a family, some backyard space for the family dog, and then it finally happens. You find the perfect house. You put in the offer. And just like that, it gets bought out from under you. You find out that it got bought out by a fund with endless cash in some faraway state where the successful purchase of this home, along with thousands of others, will go towards some smooth-talking douchebag who's going to use his income to go and put a nice addition on his house in Martha's Vineyard. Or at least that's how many people frame it when they think of hedge funds or institutions involving themselves in the residential real estate market. But it's not quite that simple. In fact, most funds aren't overly interested in single-family homes. And we'll clarify that going forward here. Those single-family homes are the focus of our analysis, not multifamily or commercial real estate or whatever property segment you might be thinking of. This distinction is crucial because many folks tend to blur the lines and mistakenly present data on multifamily ownership as if it were single-family ownership. Take, for instance, Blackstone's colossal real estate portfolio totaling nearly $600 billion. Break it down and you'll find that very little is invested into single-family homes. Rather, 33% of their portfolio is in hospitality, 11% is in office buildings, 10% is in retail structures, and 27% is in multifamily residences. Now, here's the kicker. A mere 0.7% of Blackstone's vast holdings are in single-family houses. To put this into perspective, that translates to roughly 25,000 units, a very small 0.02% of all single-family homes in the United States. But Blackstone doesn't claim the top spot for single-family home ownership. That trophy goes to Pretium Partners, who holds ownership of over 85,000 houses. If we were to tally up the figures, the six largest corporations in the sector, Invitation Homes, Blackstone, American Homes for Rent, First Key Homes, Pretium Partners, and Amherst Holdings, collectively own a staggering 342,000 single-family houses. On the surface, that's a big number. For context, there were about 294,000 single-family homes in the entire state of Vermont as of 2020. But let's put this into perspective. According to Statista, there are a whopping 82 million single-family houses in the United States, making the combined ownership of the largest corporations a mere 0.4% of this massive housing market. Yet, investor influence as a whole is growing. Based on CoreLogic data, investors have snagged a substantial chunk of homes bought between 2021 and 2023, ranging from 20 to 30%. The lion's share of these purchases come from small-scale investors, not the massive hedge funds that have been largely painted as the bad guy here. These mom-and-pop investors typically own between 3 and 9 properties. Recently, their slice of the home buying pie has surged to a staggering 47% of all houses sold. Conversely, mega investors, the big players with over 1,000 properties in their portfolios, have experienced a significant drop in their market share. It's gone from 17% to just 8%, effectively cutting in half. While institutional investors represent a relatively small segment of the overall U.S. family home market, their impact has been outsized in certain regions. In particular, it appears that investors have turned their sights to the Sunbelt area. According to CoreLogic, mega investors own over 5% of single-family houses in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. CoreLogic notes that these states have all witnessed price appreciation exceeding 20% during the year 2020, albeit that was a time when interest rates were at their all-time lows, which isn't surprising. Take a relatively small regional market, throw in big money, and it's easy to see what happens. The small guy gets pushed out. This aligns with findings from Zumper, indicating that between January 2020 and January 2023, rents for two-bedroom detached homes surged by about 44% in Tampa, 43% in Phoenix, and 35% in Atlanta. A sizable difference from the nationwide increase of 24%. Now, you might be thinking more places to rent should mean more competition to get a renter, which should mean that rent prices go down. Except these things don't exist in a vacuum. Many single-family homes are being taken off the market and being converted into Airbnb units. Or investors are turning a single-family home into a multi-unit, which means less places for families to live and ultimately higher housing prices, which then results in more people turning to renting rather than owning. Either way, while overall mega investors are still a small percentage of the overall single-family market, they're contributing to outsized increases in both rent and housing prices in select regions, making it harder for the average family to get by. Okay, so we've established mega investors have an impact in certain regions, but the problem's not quite as big as what most people seem to think it is. Now, several factors have played a role in shaping housing prices, including the record low interest rates of 2020, a surplus of practically free money during that period, and the economy being at one of its strongest points ever, despite doomers calling for a pending recession any chance they get. For the love of God, a broken clock is right more often than Robert Kiyosaki. However, a crucial aspect often overlooked in discussions about affordable housing is the silent disappearance of starter houses. These entry-level homes are typically defined as having 1 to 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and approximately 750 to 1,250 square feet of space, often situated in suburban areas. There's been a massive shift in production from starter homes to mega mansions or 3 or 4 bedroom houses. Now, back in the 1940s, a whopping 70% of all new houses fell into the small house category. Fast forward to 1980, and that figure nearly halved, dropping to 40% of homes being constructed as entry-level dwellings. So let's flash forward to today. As of 2019, only 7% of houses constructed would be classified as starter homes. Another cause for genuine concern is the surge in build-for-rent communities, typically comprising of 120 to 130 homes and predominantly found in the Sunshine States. This trend is fueled by factors such as robust job growth, lower land taxes, lower living expenses, and favorable weather conditions, which has caused an influx of residents. While these communities represent a relatively small fraction of the overall housing landscape, a notable 131,000 homes have been designated as build-for-rent houses completed between 2019 and 2023. But we can see how much the growth is picking up. For the year ended Q1 2023, there were 68,000 of these homes initiated. Take the same time period, but a year earlier, there were 52,000 of these homes completed, which means we've seen a 31% increase in the built-for-rent communities in 2023. So let's wrap it up. Many people like to blame the Vanguards and BlackRocks of the world for housing prices exploding. But they simply aren't the problem, or at least not much of it. It's a false narrative so we can blame who's really at fault, which is us and the way we govern. The problem is your aunt who owns 3 income properties, the builders who would rather make profit from building and selling McMansions rather than starter homes, Airbnb for turning residential units into commercial units, and of course your parents who refuse to give up their McMansion despite having 4 empty bedrooms and never having any visitors. Our economy has shifted as demographics and technology have shifted our lives. If we really want to fix the problems in the housing market, it's going to take some drastic changes to the way governments manage housing starts, how they manage zoning, and also how we tax unrealized gains versus income producers. Of course, if you've ever talked to a boomer, you know their favorite pastime is telling you how much their house is worth. And most of them make up our current politicians. So good luck getting any of these changes through. In the end, young people in America have 2 options. 1, grab a pitchfork and demand change, or 2, get creative about your situation.
I made $45,000 in 1 week selling my jars of farts.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you could do me a big favor, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So guys, we just recently launched this channel and we noticed that 99.9% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed this video, we need your help in growing this channel. By subscribing, that would help us keep the lights on and make sure that our crews have jobs in these uncertain times. So please hit that subscribe button, and we promise to make more quality videos that I'm sure you're going to love.